No, I've been promising a plot tour, haven't I? That's what we could do today, innit? We'll do a plot tour. How's that? Now you're going to have to forgive us a bit because it's a right tip. As you can see, it's a complete mess. It isn't usually like this at all. But because the tips are, well, they are open, but you try and get in, there's 100 cars. So I don't want to waste my life doing that at the minute. I'll wait till it calms down a bit. But we'll start up at the top on the lady farmer's side, where we've got a little bit of an orchard that we're trying to get together. Braeburn Apples, these. Now hopefully we'll get apples from this. I think we only got about 6 or 7 this year, last year off it. But on the pear tree, as you can see now, the pear tree is a conference pear tree, and that's looking like it's going to bear wonderful fruits for us again this year. Last year we got about 70 conference pears off that, and Bradley, the little mini digger, my little mate, loves them. These are cherries. Now, because of the cold snap, we have lost a few of these cherries. We had an ice blast for a couple of days last week, but I'm going to net these over and see what we get off them, because there are quite a few still on there, and I want to give them the best chance before the bloody birds have a way with them. Because we do like cherries. They're very nutritious, very, very good for arthritic conditions, gout, things like that. Get your cherries in you, lovely stuff, simply lovely. Now as we move along from that, this is a bed that I've just created the other day. You may well have seen it on the episode from about 2 or 3 days ago, where we found the wood that had been fly tipped in the woods at the side, and that's decking timber that we've created that bed out of. I put the hoops on, but it's probably not going to be used for a brassica bed or anything this year. It's probably going to be used for pumpkin. But I put those on for illustration purposes. I put a cane across. That one's a little bit lower, as you can see, but I'm going to swap that out for a longer tube. But yeah, that's got a lot of horse manure in it, and it's prepared really for 2 courgette plants and a pumpkin that are going to be going in there. These are the onions, the leeks that I started yesterday. I put those in. That was a pea and a bean bed last year, but now it's going to be a leek bed. That's another bed that's prepared, and it's ready for getting some brassicas and some salad leaf in it. This was the peas. May well be the peas again this year. It was the peas last year. This is a cooking apple tree. Now these cooking apples, previously, last year, were inedible. We couldn't get to them in time because the tree was about 2 or 3 times the size of this. It was shading things out, so we chopped it all back and we've got new growth come on it. So again, we're hoping to get the cooking apples off there and get apple and blackberry pies and things like that, or just Mom's own apple pie. That's the black shed, formerly a rat's nest. This is the lady farmer's greenhouse, and there's not a great deal going on in here at the moment, but there will be. This will be another tomato, pepper and cucumber house in a couple of weeks' time. Once all these are out, they'll go in. There's already a tomato in there, a sun gold tomato plant, with flowers on it. So hopefully that'll be bearing fruit shortly. But yeah, that's a story for another time. It's going to be completely chock-a-block this when I've finished with it, with tomatoes, peppers and cucumber. These are the little rose bed areas at the front of the lady farmer's side. The rose bushes are called the Queens of Bermuda, and they'll be ready for flowering shortly. In fact, that one's starting to burst its britches as we speak. They are beautiful, really deep blood red roses, those. Absolutely beautiful when they come through. So you'll see that in about 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully. Here are some peas. We've got Kelvin and Wonder and Onward peas in that bed. And again, that's the bed that I created as a copy of the Wise Old Elf's pea bed system over there. The netting keeps the wood pigeons off and stops them eating your peas before the time. And as we move down again, we've got peas in here. So we like peas, as you probably can tell. In this bed, this was the large netted hoop tent that I created. Again, there's a video on that from a couple of weeks ago, but if you like what we're doing, please check our playlists, because I've tried to organise the construction and growing episodes into playlists for you. So they're well worth a check out while you're on lockdown and stuff. 3 types of onions in there. We've got the Red Baron. We've got the... I forget what that one's... Oh, what is it now? I should have labelled them up. Anyway, we've got Snowball. I think we've got Senshu, and we've got Red Baron in there. Some more spuds in buckets, but I'll talk to you about those in a minute. That's on my side, my original side. In here we've got raspberries. I think these are autumn raspberries. We've got the chard, the ruby chard, the standard chard. These were overwintered, so they've been in the ground for over a year now, and we're still picking leaves off them. These are black currants, and those are black currants as well. So we've got our fingers crossed for those this year. On this side we've got red currant. We've not got abundance of red currant, as you can see there, but we have got red currant there, which hopefully the birds won't all devour. Again, the potatoes in buckets. We've got a combination there of the first earlies and second earlies. There's a kestrel. Kestrel's a second early. These are the 30-litre buckets, these ones. These are the cut flower buckets that we get from Asda or Walmart for you American or North American viewers. These are gooseberries. A gooseberry plant. That's going to produce some for us this year. Picking the time of ripeness for these is key, really, because you only get that sort of a week of nice ripeness on them. So it's timing that right. I'm thinking that that's going to be in about 3 weeks' time when we can be taking those gooseberries off. Again, we've got potatoes in here. We've got red dukes, which are a first early red potato, and we've also got kestrel, which is a second early. So these ones here on this side, hopefully, will be ready because they were planted about 2 weeks ago with the chits on them. They should be ready in probably about another 12 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks. Whereas these will be 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks after that. So we'll get a succession of growth. She's also got lots of strawberries, which are coming through and blossoming well in these 2 beds. And there's the rhubarb down there, which was only transplanted across there at the end of last year. So it's not doing too fabulously at the moment. But it'll recover, it'll come through. Okay, now this is a plum tree. Again, we're hoping that the frost spell that we had after the blossom hasn't destroyed every plum on there. There are a few plums, I think, if you can make that out, that potentially we can be getting off this. And I'm looking around, there are a few. But we'll see. If it doesn't do well this year, though, it's going to come out that, because we didn't get a single plum off it last year. So, and it is a big old tree, that, and it's kind of shading things out. Not really shading things out on our side, but yeah, I don't know. Thinking cap time for that. That's a damson. A damson tree, which is similar to plum. And we did get some off that last year. We got about 6 or 7 off it last year. As I say, it's a big beast for 7 damsons, isn't it? So we'll have a think about that again this year. So that's really essentially the lady farmer's side of Eden, of the Eden plots. Moving on to my side now, we've got the Tiki Hut. Now the Tiki Hut was, I'm tripping over all that timber I rescued the other day. The Tiki Hut's my shed. And it's an 8 foot by 8 foot shed with a 10 foot by 10 foot roof on it. So you've got the overhang all the way around it. And that assists in protecting the side timbers and just basically gives you a bit of a shelter for the actual shed section itself underneath there. We're gathering water as best as we can from the roof. There's a slight tilt and slope to the roof. It drops down about 5 degrees from that side to that side. And all the water that lands onto the flat roof runs down into the gutter there and then into the water butts. The water butts are set up in parallel. So as that one fills, it tipples out through there into this one, same again for this one, same again for this one, and so you get a run of water fill until they're all full. When we ever get some rain, we haven't had any rain now for about 8 weeks, so to speak. But there are solar panels on top of this as well. And we've got a solar setup again in the playlists. You'll be able to see the installation of this. It's like 3 episodes showing the installation of this solar system. When I get up on the roof later, I'll show you the solar panels, the 200 volt, I think. Whatever it is, it's either volt or watt. I'm not an electrician, but the 200 of whatever they are, and that goes and feeds into the solar charge controller, which then again gets slaved out. So it comes through off the roof, gets tucked underneath, comes across here into this. This then slaves out to the Auto Father 2000 watt smart power inverter. And with that, I can charge up all my power tools. My phone gets charged up from this. We have the lights for the cabin. So in the evening time, if it does go dark, as the nights get darker, we can still do jobs and work in here. I've also got a kettle that it runs, but I need to get more battery storage. Battery storage is key. Those are leisure batteries, and I need another 2 of those. So I'm just saving up for them because they're about £80 each. But I need them. Maybe a bank of 4 that'll fit into the, and then the solar power that we collect will be stored in those batteries, and we'll be laughing all the way through winter with that. Yeah, so this is the interior of the Tiki Hut. Again, you'll have to forgive me. The maid, you just can't get the staff these days. It's a right tip. That's my favourite sign. The planet on which we live. So yeah, so I use this for storage, and I've got a load of seeds in here that I've got to get out. Get some more of those in. When we had these seeds stored in the Lady Farmer's black shed, the mice and rats got in and had a good go at them, which is a bit of a disappointment, but they can't get in here. It is impossible for a mouse or a rat to get inside here because this is airtight inside here. It really is. Yeah, so that's the Tiki Hut. Moving round to the front, we've got our little flower bed area. Again, it's a tip. Excuse me for that. But yeah, all different types of flowers. There's a mixture of wild flowers and cultivated flowers in this bed. These were the tulips that have just died back, but they were beautiful tulips, direct from Amsterdam. Those that Mother Earth, my mum, brought back with her from the bulba markets. I'll put some water in that for the birdies. Some of these beds aren't actually in use at the moment, but I'm leaving them like that because I've got decisions to make about what we're going to be planting in here. That's going to be a nice one, isn't it? Again, we've got potatoes that we've started in buckets here at the front. These are all going to be, I think they were Sarpomira potatoes. So those buckets may not be big enough, but we'll see. They'll probably be bursting by the end of the season. These are some leeks that I'm going to be taking out tonight. In here we've got onions. Yeah. Again, the barons of the Senshu. They were overwintered, put in last year. More onion. Okay. This is some parsnip that I planted in a couple of nights ago. Planted on from seed starts that we had up in the greenhouse in the polytunnel that I'm going to show you shortly. Again, we've got more barren beds awaiting planting up. That's not a wildlife garden. That's supposed to be, and I've neglected that because they're probably going to be coming out. The blueberries were in there. I haven't done a single tap with that this year because it's going to be coming out. This I'm taking it out. We didn't get enough blueberries off it last year, and I've got to rethink the whole blueberry situation and what we're going to do with it, and how we're going to grow the blueberries this next time. Sound like a bloody manic depressive. What's the matter with me? So moving on to the middle of the plot. Again, we've got a fallow bed there, over there, that had the beetroot in and amaranth in last year. It's going to have beetroot, I think, again this year, or maybe sweet corn. I'm guessing, actually, I'm going to be probably putting my sweet corn in there when it's ready for going out in about 2 weeks. You've got to miss the frost date for sweet corn. Same with potatoes, really. They're vulnerable. Tomatoes are very vulnerable to frost damage. Right, so in here, in this bed, we've got beetroot there, spinach. These are all grab or catch crops that we put in with the cauliflower and calabrese, which to the layman is broccoli. So we've got an intermittent broccoli and cauliflower bed there, really. But these are ready for taking now, the spinach, definitely. I'm going to take some of that tonight and put it into the green soup that I'm making tonight. You can eat the beet leaf as well from the beet roots, but I'm going to leave those to grow on because we want little golf ball sized beetroots off them. And the cluster planted, about 3 or 4 together with the little beetroot plants in there. Moving on to this bed is another covered brassica bed. We've also got the lettuce in there. Again, if you check the channel's playlist, you'll see how to make these for yourselves and protect your plants from cabbage white butterflies, pigeons and other little bugs and creepy crawlers. It also actually creates a slight microclimate and takes a little bit of the edge off the wind burn, you know, that comes through. And that's why we have them. So there's lettuce in there as well, interplanted as a catch crop with the brassicas. Onion and garlic. There's plenty of garlic in here. There's pink Germador and white Casablanca in here, in this bed. We like garlic. We like the allium family in general, really. So your onions, your garlic, your leeks. Very good for you. Very, very good for your heart. And potentially for brain disorders and Alzheimer's disease and stuff like that. It helps, apparently. Don't quote me on that, but that's from the research that we've seen. It does do that. So those are the, I've just pulled that one up. That's just bulb garlic, that. The reason it hasn't split is because it was left in the greenhouse at the top over winter, and you need a frost to split it. But it's all edible. We're going to be eating that, definitely. The garlic. And again down here, onions. And I thought I'd put garlic in there as well, but I don't think I have. It must all be onion in there. And they won't be too far off now if you just dig around the bases. Another couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, they'll be ready for coming up. That's a big fat one at the end there. Robert De Niro kale. That's what I call it anyway. That's going to be going in shortly as well. And again, we've got potatoes in here. Sarpo Mira. There are 3 to a row, and this is a 4-foot bed. So that's given them enough elbow room, really, to spread the wings. They were only put in about two weeks ago, though, so they're not going to be coming through as yet. All right. Spuds in buckets. That's Frostburn, and everybody's been affected with it last week. We had 2 nights of quite hard frost, and it's done for our spuds, that, but they grow back. They actually are starting to put fresh foliage on there, so if we don't have another bad episode with the frost, they'll be fine and dandy. They'll be fine and dandy, those. Did I tell you about that bed on the Lady Farmer's side? I don't think I did I? Again, it's the same sort of situation. We've got red cabbage in there, and we've got white cabbage in there. So that's the cabbages in there. And also all the lettuce that we've interplanted around again on that side. In here, we've got swede. We've got 4 swede. This is Brad's cage, my little boy's cage. We'll lock him up in here. We've also got cauliflowers at the back. I believe here we've got, I think we've got broccoli, both sides, calabrese, both sides. Broccoli is intensely good for you. Very, very good. All the cruciferous plants, the Brassica family, are really good for your health. Again, we've got beetroot with it, although I think the beets on this side may be getting crowded out, so I may dig those out and move them. Because the thing with swede is that swede is it's a member of the Brassica family, but it does tend to bush out quite a lot. The leaf foliage gets quite big, and so it's going to shade out those beetroots. I'll move them later. Coming on to our large potato bed. This is a whopper. This is a cracker for potatoes, really, this, because it's 18 inches deep, and so I bury the potatoes about 15 inches deep. And all through that bed last year, we had tons and tons. We got over 200 pounds in weight of potatoes out of that bed last year. It did fantastically well, that. Again, they've been touched by the frost. David Jason's made an appearance and touched them. The dirty get. But we interplanted as well as row markers, really, side row markers, with the radishes. We took a load out yesterday and left a few in there just to grow on, a few of the smaller ones. And they were the bright lights radishes, which were the sort of a white, and then there's a creamy one, a pink one, and a really deep purple coloured radish. That was on yesterday's show, that. Next up, my pride and joy. I absolutely love this. It's made from recycled trampoline frames. So the old trampolines that it was a big massive fad for them about 4 or 5 years ago, and everybody was getting these 10-foot trampolines. They can go up to 14 feet, I think, in diameter. But this is a 10-foot trampoline. It's two 10-foot trampolines, this, as the framework. As I say, I think there's about 12 or 13 videos on the creation of this thing. Those are the side lifting windows that allow you to vent the tunnel. Altogether, this has cost me less than £500, and I'll bet if you were going to buy one of those, if you could buy one like that and get it installed, I bet you'd be talking about £3,000 for that. I've seen people advertising erection of those online, supplying erection of those online, and you're talking £2,500 for something that's nowhere near the spectacular beauty and functionality of that thing. It is absolutely smart. I love it to pieces, and as you can see inside, I could do an episode all on its own on this. Now that's a 4-foot gutter with peas in. We started those 21 days ago, so 3 weeks today we started those in. That's my potting table, that's my potting tray. These are the beds at the moment. These have got the cucumber in on that side, and on this side the Californian Wonder peppers, Californian Wonder bell peppers on that side, cucumbers on that side. Got tomatoes in there. I'm going to have to do a tidy up in here, aren't I? It's not affecting the plants at the moment, it just looks untidy. Tumbling Tom tomatoes hanging off the bar, that's hanging off the trampoline frame springs. Reuse, repurpose, recycle is what we are all about down here on the Little Farmer's Farm. Boys and girls, you've got to be. That needs tying on as well. That's missed the pogrom. I didn't tie that one on. But these are tied up to the stakes. Again, sun gold and money maker in here. So, no, they're not the Sweet 100. Sweet 100 vining tomatoes. So as they grow up, the framework that I've created here, the poles that I've created, I'm going to single stem those tomatoes all the way up there, and then wrap them round to the top, and then nip them out when they get to the top, nip out the growing stem, the growing bud, and then they can bush out a little bit more. Keep your eye on the foliage, trim it back as needs be, take out the spurs that you get, or the suckers, they're called suckers. I think I might have done too good of a job on this because I've none to show you. They're basically growing the crux of the elbow of the plant, the suckers. I will get you, sucker! There's one. Growing in the crux. Growing in the crux. take away energy from the plant, those. Essentially, it's another plant growing there in the elbow of that. So yeah, so this is the Tiki tunnel. We've got carrots over there in buckets. These we're hoping to get nice parsnips off, because again these are growing in buckets. We're watering from the base, and it's through osmosis or whatever it's called, capillary action. It draws up the moisture from the trays, and so the roots then seek that moisture out and hopefully keep going in that direction. It's fine filtered compost that those are in, with a little bit of nutrition in the form of a small handful of blood, fish and bone at the bottom, so it can go down and seek it out. I digress there, because on the episodes you'll see all that. These are onions that were started off from seeds, Ailsa Craig onions. They'll be going out next week. We've got marigolds. Now, I didn't start these myself from seeds, because we got these from Asda, because there were 30 little marigold plants for £5, which I thought was really good. So we got a few of those. Just bought them. These are the beans and peas that we've been given by friends. Alan at the Dawn Chorus plot has given us those sweet peas there, Hilda's mix of sweet peas. We've got different beans, cowpeas, lima beans, pole beans, and Chinese red noodle, and green beans. The red noodle didn't seem to come through, but the green noodle beans did. Those are Lady Stark of Winterfell's. What were they now then? I know they're a French climbing bean, but I forget what sort. I'll have to check it after. So yeah, we've got a few of those ones off Kelly Bramall at Kelly's Kitchen Garden. That's a giant pumpkin that we're hoping great things of. Courgettes. These are rescue courgettes. Somebody was throwing them out, and I revived them, brought them back to life. There's another courgette. These don't seem to be taking as well. We tried to cut a couple of the spurs off, the branching spurs off the sungold plant, and pot them on to see if they would grow. I put rooting compound on them as well, but I don't know. I don't know whether they will. They might have been too small to have a go, really. Some chilli pepper there. Shop bought chilli pepper, actually, this one. Didn't have any chilli seeds, but they've got a patchy, and I think we've also got somewhere in here, in this jungle, we've also got jalapeno somewhere. Don't know. Knocking about. Cono di Toro Rosso. Bull's horn, red bull's horn. Peppers, they're ready for potting on. Loads more tomatoes around the back that we're ready for potting on. This is our sweet corn I was talking about before. It's a little bit early. You want to wait past your frost date really before you put these out. And our last frost date is in 10 days time. So these will be going out at the end of the month. Or maybe even the start of June. Joe puts his out, the wise old elf, he puts his out at the start of June. Again, from Ession's Family Garden, Robert Ession's Family Garden, we've got the okra. I'm going to research what you do with okra, because they're ready for, I'm guessing that those are ready, because the leaf is suffering a little bit, those are ready for more nutrition and spreading the wings, those, so I'll have to research that. That's the cayenne pepper there, it's a cayenne pepper that we've got there. More marigold there. The French marigold is a deterrent for white fly, green fly, black fly, all the little flies that come and mither your plants. Aphids, that kind of thing. These tomato plants, they're going to have marigolds planted in the gaps, as I say, as a deterrent for the naughty aphids that come and drink the sap of them, all the little flies. But I think it's absolutely lovely. I put that table in yesterday as well. It's good. We've got strawberries there as well, hanging in the baskets. Yeah, so that's our tiki tunnel. Oh, there's some rescue roses as well. The garden centre, we're throwing those in the tip. So I'm trying to rescue those and see if we can revive them and get them planted up outside. Or maybe even just leave them in the buckets. I think I might plant them up though and put some manure in with them, you know. Some beetroots there at the back as well, plenty of beetroot. There's loads of stuff. But as I come out of there, we're nearly finished now, so you'll be happy to hear. This is the first structure that I ever built. It's what the garlic was overwintering in, and also potatoes, as you'll see in a second. Oh. 4mm twin wall clear polycarbonate for the windows and the roof. That's a rude melon that Rocky gave us. Rocky and Mrs. grew that. They look like boobies. It's a type of gourd rather than a melon, really. It's a type of gourd. As you can see, it's flowering now. It's liking it in here. It's loving it. And those are the potatoes that we put in last year, probably about 9 months ago, and they came through about 2 months ago. They haven't been bitten by the frost, and they're Jersey Royal potatoes, those. I'm not going to call them International Kidney, because I'm a better man than that. Those are Jersey Royal potatoes, those. And they'll be absolutely gorgeous then, when they come out, in about another 2 to 3 weeks' time. Just in time for June. Nom, 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 nom. So that's the kingdom, and welcome to the kingdom. It's a little slice of heaven down here on the little farmer's farm. We're so blessed really to have what we have, and also have the neighbours that we've got, because they're all really, really nice people. We all help each other out, which is the way life should be, innit? But it isn't always like that. But it is down here. It's like a step back to the 1950s under rationing and all of that, like when you come down here. In fact, there's the flag behind us. But we all help each other out, and it doesn't matter, and I've said this before, it doesn't matter what race, creed, colour, religion, denomination, sexual preference you are, it doesn't matter one little jot. All that matters is that you're a good person, and that you contribute and help. If you don't contribute and help, then you're not very good, are you? I think it was it Orlando Bloom in that film, Kingdom of Heaven, where God has given me this land. What man would I be if I did not try to make it better? Make your land better, make your communities better, do your bit, and the world will be a fantastic Garden of Eden, won't it? I'm a lunatic, aren't I? But I think it's right. I think it's right. I do. I believe it. Got to make it better for yourselves and your kids and your grandkids and all that. Be stewards of the land. Be stewards of God's creation. That's the Tiki Hut. Right, I'm going to get up on top of that Tiki Hut and give you an aerial shot of the plot now. And if I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. I've been Guru Mafinda. You've been fantastic as always, and remember, keep growing with your head down, and we love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye. I nearly forgot those jumbo Virginian peanuts that we got sent from Robert Ession's family garden. Link in the description below. They're coming through now. Peanuts. So those are the twin solar panels I was telling you about before, 200 watters, I think there's 200 watters, those ones. And this is the top of the Tiki Hut, all flat roof with a slope, goes down into the gutter and waters our water butts up, fills them up for us. This is the aerial view, the pigeon's eye view of the plots. That's old MacDarby's farm. One of our great neighbours, and that's Uncle Joe, the wise old elf. That's his. All looking really nice, all looking a lot neater than mine, to be honest with you, at the moment, these and tidier. Got to get that sorted out. Got to get all this mess sorted out. Get down to the tips. So yeah, hope you like it. Catch us next time for more fun and japes. If you're a subscriber, please hit the bell notification button so that you don't miss another episode from the Little Farmer's Farm. If you're not a subscriber already and you do like what we do, please subscribe, comment, like, and again hit the bell notification button. Become part of the growing revolution. Whatever you're doing, whatever you can do, grab a bucket, get some seeds and some dirt and get growing. Whatever you can, grow, even if it's just a window box. Get some lettuce in it. Bye bye, boys and girls. Take care.